Let's head back to Christchurch first of all. If there's anything worse, I guess, than a flood, maybe it's cleaning up after a flood, which is what they've been doing today in Christchurch, of course.
The rain's gone, leaving behind the soggy houses and damaged possessions. Brodie Kane went back to St Albans today.
This is Carrick Street yesterday, and this is it today. What a difference 24 hours can make.
And you just feel really, you take one step forward and you knock back about 3 or 4. But yeah, no, I'd rather help to tidy things up and make it look back to normal again.
Bryce and Antoinette McCutcheon have lived here for 50 years. This is the worst they can remember, and it has left one almighty mess.
He's 80, I'm in my late 60s, and it's hard work in our bodies.
The clean-up will take weeks.
He suffers from dizziness, and I've got arthritis through my body, so we can only do so much, and then we go and sit down, cup of coffee, sometimes a whiskey in the coffee, and then we go out again.
Just down the road, first-time homeowners Pip and Kelly Rush were in the middle of extensive renovations. This sleep-out was their temporary home.
That's how high it was yesterday.
Yes, it was.
It is now unlivable.
There's nothing quite like the smell of wet carpet, eh?
It's disgusting, especially because the water is not just nice, pure water.
It is disgusting and heartbreaking, but Pip is adamant laughter is the best medicine.
Yesterday we were saying that we just need to keep laughing so that we don't cry.
Neighbour Tony Simpson is also trying to keep a smile.
It's gone all over our driveway, so I've given it a first hosing. But what concerns me is with this black water, it's gone all through the grass where our grandchildren play, and it's obviously a health risk.
He's talking about raw sewage.
So this is now the 3rd time in 3 years that we've been flooded. And if I just take you into the sleep out, you can...
Oh, yeah.
This is brand new carpet.
You're joking.
Tony, a school principal by day, has battled quakes and floods, and he's also been fighting the Ministry of Education to keep Phillipstown Primary School from closing. All he and his neighbours want to know is what does the future hold for the land they live on.
I do feel a bit in the dark, and I trust that a lot of people are doing the best they can, but I think we've got to work harder.
Bryce and Antoinette McCutcheon love this neighbourhood. This is their home and they're desperate to stay as long as they can.
Well, 40 or 50 years is a long time. You happy to stay in this house?
Oh, yeah. I'll be 6 feet under shortly.
Oh, well, with me now in Christchurch is Dr Chris Gomez from Canterbury University. He's been researching how the earthquakes have changed the risk of flooding in the city. Good evening to you. Now tell me, this flooding, it's not just due to rainfall, is it?
No, indeed. It's the position of Christchurch as well. Very close to the lowland and to the sea. That makes it very vulnerable to floods. When water falls down Christchurch, it's very difficult to evacuate that water.
And this has all happened because of the earthquakes? Tell us how that worked.
Well, that was already a problem before the earthquake, but the earthquake has made it worse. What happened is because of the quake, some part of the land has gone down, it's subsidence, so that we are way closer than we were to the sea level, so that we are more prone to floods. And what has happened also is along rivers, a lot of the banks have collapsed towards the center so that the waterway are way smaller and they will tend to get the water out basically and flood the surrounding way easier.
So Dr Gomez, what are the chances of this happening again? Yesterday we heard it was a 1 in 100 year event, but from what you're saying, it seems like it could happen more regularly than that.
Absolutely, and there are also other concerns like the climate change that modify the sea level. Sea level is rising millimetre by millimetre every year, making more areas around the coast prone to flooding as well.
So what should the plan of attack for the city be? I mean, should the Christchurch residents be worried here and have a strategy to deal with this in future?
Well, there are strategies. Right now, the Christchurch City Council is really working very, very hard to dig the waterways, so that there are areas that will be digged. It's going to get better. We have to remember that we are only a couple of years after a major quake. All the lifelines have been impacted, so that when we have those stormwater that have been broken in so many places, right now they are not at 100%. They are working hard at replacing them, modifying them, so that a lot of areas that have been flooded this time won't be flooded next. But for areas that are by the coast and subsiding, well, it's a very long-term problem and it's not so easily solvable.
OK, more floods to come. That's the message. Dr. Chris Gomes, thank you for your time.